my God, I think this quarantine is starting to get to me. I mean, I'll be the first to admit right now, I was never really, like, the outgoing type, you know? I never really actively went out of my way to go party every single night, but, you know, I mean, I like going to the movie theater. About a third of the reason I started this YouTube channel in the first place was to talk about movies I'd seen in the theater just recently. I haven't been doing a whole lot of that, and that was before the quarantine, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, I like to go hang out with friends, you know. I got a fiance I like to see, you know. We're gonna work on moving in with each other eventually, and I don't know, you know, it's just, I'm stuck here. The only place I can go is either the grocery store or my job, and don't even get me started. I think I'm losing my mind, but I think I'm holding it together just as well. What do you think, Mr. Fuzz? Am I holding things together well? No. No, I will not light the house on fire. Because I still remember what happened the last time you convinced me to do it. Oh yeah? Let's see how you like flying. Jerk. He's worse than the ghost cat, I swear. At least he speaks English. So basically, in my desperate attempt to distract my mind from the horrifying revelation that this is going to be going on for at least another month, all the while I'm trapped in my apartment singing like a caged bird, except I don't have an audience. Oh my God, it's driving me insane. What do I do? What do I do? I went looking around Netflix's new release section, and boy did I find a doozy. The Platform is a movie about a prison. A prison that has got to be one of the most gimmicky constructs since Escape Plan. Except at least Escape Plan's prison actually, you know, resembled a prison. It's out there, but in a weird sort of billionaire lunatic with nothing better to do with his money kind of way. I could actually see somebody making something like that prison. The prison in The Platform, meanwhile, I have a very, very, very hard time imagining anybody would be crazy or stupid or bored enough to actually build something like this. The prison in The Platform is a multi-floored structure with 2 people per floor, and at the very top, people get this like insane amount of food and they just gorge themselves until they can't eat anymore. And then the food that they don't eat, they put on a platform, they hit a button, and it goes down to the next floor. And then the people on the next floor take the food that the people above them didn't want, they gorge themselves, and then they hit the button and it goes down to the next floor, etc., etc. And I swear to God, this is such a blatantly obvious metaphor for trickle-down theory that it's almost funny. The key word there being almost. The movie is about as subtle as a guy running up to you with a spatula and screaming, "Symbolism!" You think I'm joking? You really think I'm joking? Really? You think so? Then watch the movie for yourself. Just turn this review off and then watch the movie for yourself. What the hell am I even doing sitting here in front of my phone like this? I don't know. But if you want to hear my review, then trust me, this movie is not subtle. Not even a little bit. Every now and then I encounter a movie that I swear to God was made by space aliens trying to understand human philosophies. I talked about this concept in my review of The Lobster back in the day, and The Platform is one of those movies where I kind of feel like this is what that is. This was made by a space alien who was trying to figure out how this weird human concept called trickle-down theory works. And in defense of the space aliens, I myself am not entirely sure how we convinced ourselves that this works either, but that's a political topic. I try not to talk politics too much. Honestly, I'm kind of torn between 2 different descriptions. Like, on one hand, there's the space alien description that I used earlier, but in an attempt to be a little more original and not rehash old material, the only other way I can describe it on this hand here is that this is what it looks like when Michael Moore tries to be David Lynch. It tries to be weird, it tries to be confusing, and it tries to be surrealist, but it ultimately ends up coming off as, like, insanely preachy to the point where it's really impossible for me to take anything going on in this movie seriously. There is a scene where one of the 2 cellmates tries to eat the other because they're getting no food because they're so far down the totem pole. And this is supposed to be a scene with, like, all the tension in the world, but at this point, it is so hard for me to get invested in this movie because the metaphor is just being rubbed in my face like somehow I'm stupid. I need the metaphor to be explained to me point blank, you know what I'm saying? But suppose you don't care. Suppose you're not a very political-minded person, and suppose you're not bothered by art. You know, you think that this is an interesting concept. Well, how does the movie really hold up? Well, to be honest, outside of its gimmick, this movie really doesn't go anywhere, you know? It's just 2 hours or so of this. It's just, I don't know, it's like, it's like they spent so much time trying to develop the concept of the prison that they forgot that there was supposed to be a story. And if there is a story, I forgot what it was because, oh my god, this movie is so stupid. If there's any positive I can give this movie, like any positive at all, it's probably the soundtrack. I mean, in a better movie, this soundtrack would totally be building up tension. My heart would be racing. Oh my god, I want to see what happens next. Dear Lord, someone please tell me what happens next. But in this movie, I mean, it's a passable soundtrack, but like the movie is so dumb, I feel like the soundtrack is just wasted here. Honestly, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush anymore. I mean, I can only say this movie is stupid so many times in one review before you get bored and click off to the next thing, so there's really nothing else to say but 1 hat out of 4. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of Hatflix and Chill. Hopefully I haven't lost my mind and started babbling and licking the wall in hopes that it will somehow bring about the second coming of Jesus or whatever. Until then, I hope you liked this video. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, follow the channel if you actually mean it. I'll see you next time. Symbolism! God, I hope I didn't just crack my screen.